Hey, this is Charlotte Terrell from Images Motivational Consultant Agency. And if you really want to level up your life, you should be listening to Time to Shine Today podcast with my friend Scott Ferguson.
Hey, time to shine, Varsity Squad. It's Scott Ferguson here, and I get to bring you an awesome interview conversation with my friend and homegirl from Michigan, the Mitten, and also a Michigan State Spartans fan. Yay, go green, go white. Her name's Charlotte Terrell of Images Motivational Consultant Agency, and she had quite a journey to get to where she's at. She was an old soul growing up, but her vibrancy and her experience now is able to help others go to the next level. She is all about being genuine to yourself. And even when you're in the wallows of life, take action because you're not going to be where you are now then and might as well be in a better place. So here, without further ado, is my good friend, Charlotte Terrell. Hey, time to shine, squad. It's Scott Ferguson, and I am blessed to be having a conversation with, I'm going to call her my homegirl. She's from the Mitten, Detroit area, Detroit, Michigan, and she made a move down into Mississippi where her whole family's from, and I kind of moved down to South Florida, and we both kind of moved down for the sunshine, which is I think everybody needs right about now, because while we're recording this, it's March 31st, and it is we're kind of right smack dab in the middle of our social distancing, so it's nice to have some conversation with people that are going to level up your life. And Charlotte Terrell has worked as a clinical therapist, trainer, and life coach for a number of years. She has evoked change and positively impacted the lives of hundreds with her authentic, insightful wisdom and witty approach to life and its circumstances. Charlotte is a dynamic communicator whose mission is to promote effective communication, coping methodology, and self-confidence in all people. And get this, squad, she is the author of a fantastic book, The Dis-Ease, and it's spelled DIS-EASE, the 30-day guide to comfort, depression, and anxiety. And Charlotte, please come on and say hello to our squad. But first, tell us your favorite color and why.
Hi, everybody. This is Charlotte Terrell here. And I guess my favorite, I vacillate between blue and purple. They're kind of in the same family, but they both are representative of royalty.
Love it.
It always reminds me of freshness and being anew and being rejuvenated. So I love those two colors.
Love it. So let's take our
vivid like me.
I know you're so like, your energy is just spilling through. I love this. Take us back in our like little DeLorean Back to the Future here. Okay. Tell us a little origins of your start and how you got to be this fantastic, life coach and trainer.
It's kind of weird, but even as a child, I did the normal things and got in my share of trouble, but I spent a lot of time. My mom is a retired choir director, and she actually is still doing some music and consulting in the area in Michigan. But she was one of those that back in the day, she would be in jail now, but back in the day, she would bring the kids home. We traveled together. They were like my brothers and sisters, but they were older than me. And I always found myself listening to them, providing them with advice. And although I was a little girl, I could understand what they were talking about. I just had this innate sense of people and relationships. And I just enjoyed listening and giving advice when necessary. And so it just kind of evolved as I got older. And my mom asked me when I was getting ready to go to college, not, are you going to college, but what college are you going to? And what are you going to major in? And I knew without question, social work. Where did that come from?
What?
Really, what a surprise. But I just decided, to stay in that same vein. I know social work, I know people, I know systems and how people interact with systems. And so I just made that my major. And that's kind of been between education and social work. That's just, and therapy. That's kind of been what I've been doing. Discovered coaching in 2010. and said, ooh, this is putting some steps to what I've been doing all along. I don't have to just listen anymore. I could say, hey, do this, try this. Have you tried that?
Right.
And just kind of adding some enhancement to what I was already practicing. So that's kind of the long and the short of it.
Oh, I love it. I love it. And so you were a little child kind of spewing some advice and the wisdom. Where do you think that wisdom kind of came from at such a young age? Are you just very observant and picking up on stuff, or where do you think that came from?
I think it's a combination of being observant. I was around older kids a lot. I'm older people. They always used to call me boss. I was like, why are these old people calling me boss lady? But it just kind of stuck. But observant, being around older people, and also just an innate gift that God has given me to just have a love and compassion for people in pain and helping them through the healing process.
So you're a true go-giver. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Where did you end up going to college to become a social worker? Was it in Michigan?
I did get one of my degrees in Michigan.
Okay.
I got my master's in rehabilitation counseling at State. Woohoo! The green and white.
Sparty on. That's it. We don't cheer for the blue flu here on my
no.
So.
But I went to Kentucky State for undergrad.
Wow. Okay.
Got a social work degree there.
Okay.
And I had a music scholarship, so I sang and did my thing.
Oh, you sang? Okay. Did it start kind of in the choir as you were younger and stuff? Because your mom was a choir director, right? You said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Fantastic.
So I was in her choirs, and then I experienced some other choirs in the community, honors choirs and all that jazz. But I don't sing much anymore. But
I love it. I love it. So, what do you think makes a good coach then, Charlotte?
I think for one, you have to be a good listener. You have to have a good heart. You have to be authentic. And people right now, and even before this tumultuous time, have been interested in people who are genuine, being themselves. Sometimes I can talk about mistakes I've made, not 10 years ago, 10 minutes ago. I mean, like, I might have said the wrong thing, put my foot in my mouth, but, I'm human. And being human is probably the most important factor to being a good coach. Be human.
I love it. So how do you pull, when you meet somebody, a lot of times they might come referred to you, but how do you pull their genuine out of them? Because a lot of people come to you with a fake face. They think they have it together. They're just looking for help, maybe to make some money or, get over a tragedy. But how do you bring out that genuine, authentic self out of your prospect before they're even a client?
It usually may start with a joke or something that I've noticed, a commonality that we have. Like, I've seen people here in Mississippi that have a University of Michigan shirt on, and I might just walk up to them and say, why you got that ugly shirt on? And my cousins are like, oh my God, you're gonna get us killed. But it's just my way of just kind of breaking the ice. And people will be people with you if you're people with them. Mm-hmm. And just kind of just breaking down the barriers by talking real stuff with them, and just again finding a commonality, finding something that people are passionate about. I'm not into fishing, but my husband is.
Sure.
And he's passionate about it. So,
right.
Do I want to hear about worms or seasoned meat that he uses to fish? Not really.
Right.
But I listen to it because he loves it, and I get enjoyment from seeing him excited. So just being genuinely excited for people and with people, celebrating with them. I think that's how you pull stuff out.
That's fantastic. So tell me about a fail that you might have had in your life, something that you had to push through and come out on the other side being a better person for it.
Do you mean professionally or personally?
That's either. Let's dig in either one. Whatever you're comfortable talking about.
Well, I can be the first to admit I was in a marriage prior to this one that wasn't successful. He threatened to kill me. And I figured that probably it's a good idea to get out. He didn't kill me, obviously. He didn't put his hands on me, but he had the propensity to do that. Mm-hmm. I got pregnant, lost the baby. And at that, I really hit rock bottom at that point because I was thinking, I've lost this baby, I've lost him, nobody wants to fail in marriage. But I don't feel like I failed. I just feel like the marriage just was not a safe place for me to stay in. Understood. So I left after he threatened to kill me. there were some issues just underlying with him that he just was not willing to let go of. And it just kind of, after the marriage, led me to a dark place, because I was wondering, well, what was in me to choose somebody like him? And
Sure.
what did I do wrong to wind up in a situation where not only am I jobless, homeless, carless, I had to go home to mom and, all that stuff.
Mhm.
But I heard a small voice say to me, "You're worth saving." And that I just kind of built on that. Before I was from a pretty confident family, and they encouraged you to be confident and know who you are and where you're going. And after I hit rock bottom with this whole situation with this guy, he was on drugs and, just all the
Sure.
things that you could imagine would go into a situation like that. But once I came out, I was like, I got game now that I didn't have before. I mean,
Wow.
I made the mistake of maybe choosing too soon or choosing wrong or whatever you want to call it. But I learned from that and I
Sure.
grew from that.
It's almost
And I think, I came out better because of it.
it's almost like it's perfect timing for a bad thing in a way. I mean, no one ever wants to go what you went through, but you
Right.
came through and you're a strong woman, and
Yes.
that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that, by the way, because that's pretty, that's strong. I use the word
Yeah.
strong a lot, but that's a strong thing. So
And I hope it helps somebody and encourages
yes.
them that you can come out and you can be better.
Excellent. I love that. And scars are tougher on your skin anyways. They make you stronger.
Yes,
That's fantastic. So
absolutely.
I guess we can segue into this. If you were to go back in time and meet the 22-year-old Charlotte, what would you tell her? What would you advise her?
I think one of the things that I tell people all the time, I would tell her is, one, don't aspire to be perfect, because you're not. You're never going to attain that as a goal. Your dog's not going to be perfect. Your marriage is not going to be perfect. Nothing about you or your immediate scope will be perfect. And also, you're going to take you with you wherever you go. So whatever precedence you want to take in representing yourself, always be mindful of presenting your best self.
You know what I'm
Um,
getting from this, Squad, is that she said it many times, but what she just said there is just be genuine, right, Charlotte?
yeah,
That's what we want to tell everybody out there is be genuine, no matter what your situation is, be genuine. That's what you would have told your 22-year-old. Maybe you were back then because you're like light years ahead of what your age was. But I like to ask that question a lot because I want to hear, because I'm always saying, get your asking gear, meaning that's what I would have told my
yeah,
younger self is be bold and
yeah,
ask people, don't be afraid to ask, and
yes,
and be
yeah.
like you just said it, be genuine. I love that. So
And
what?
also,
Mhm.
just
Oh, please.
as a just to piggyback on that, it's okay to not be okay. Now, don't sit on your behind and, like you said, don't get your butt in gear.
Sure.
But it's okay to not be okay, but
Hmm.
figure out what you need to do to not be to be better.
And I love that, and I'm a man of faith, and I don't care who really think whoever you
Absolutely,
believe
me
in,
too.
that's fine. But I'm a man
Not
of
man
faith.
of faith, but
Yeah,
but I'm a
right.
woman.
Right. And even God says, as you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, not sit and wallow and wallow.
Right.
It's me. You move, take action, keep moving forward. He's got you
Absolutely.
no matter what.
Yes.
And I don't want to turn this into this because, some of my listeners are not, but I'm a believer and I'm not afraid to say it, but no matter what you're in, take action, move forward. That's exactly what you just said. Stay
Yes.
genuine, take action and move forward. And,
Absolutely.
and I love that. So what do you think is the one thing? Well, let's ask this a different way. Is there any good question that you wish your prospects that are going to become clients would ask you but never do? When you're
Ooh.
first, a lot of times it makes you think a lot because I coach people too. And there's certain questions and I'm like, man, I'm just waiting for you to ask it. But like, what do you think is maybe a question that people never ask that you have to actually draw the answer out of them before they, even ask it?
I mean, going along with the theme that we've been talking about, are you living your authentic self? Images is an acronym that actually stands for, that's my company, that stands for imparting a message about God's expectation of our success.
Wow.
And
Wow.
also, I like the acronym, but also I like images because we wear all these masks and all these different hats. And what I want to ask people or want people to tell me is, are you being your real self? And what are you ashamed of? What is making you not feel like you can be who you are and be accepted and loved and get gratification from your life? What is it about your life that makes you feel like you have to hide behind a mask or hide behind a title or a facade?
Mm-hmm.
So are you living your authentic life? Are you enjoying your authentic self? And what are you doing to take care of you? Would you trust you to be your caregiver?
Wow. Would you trust you to be your caregiver? That is strong, squad. Listen to that. I'm writing that down. Hold on one second. Would you trust you to be your caregiver? Sorry, people, but I had to actually write that while I was in the top of my head. Hey, real quick, the images. What is that again? Can you say that a little slower? It's
imparting a message about God's expectation of our success.
I love that. I love it. I'm imparting a message about God's expectations about success. That is amazing.
Of our success.
Of our success. Okay. Beautiful, beautiful. So, okay, if you were to, we'll take your cell phone out of the equation right now, but what's 3 things that Charlotte cannot live without? And they can be anything. Fun. It can be like something like
God.
Love it.
Laughter. And family, whether blood related or non-blood related.
God. See, yours are better than mine. I always throw chicken wings at the end because I have to have my chicken wings.
I know. No, I love chicken.
I'm a snob, so it's like I have to have them. But Charlotte, what is your definition of a life well lived?
Growing up, or even sometimes now we fall into this, you got to have a lot of money and drive this and drive that. But a fulfilled life to me is a life that where you are living a life of thanksgiving. You're thankful for things, people, places, your experiences, the ones you learned from, the ones you loved, the ones you hated. They all have formed who you are. And I think embracing all of those things and embracing and just taking life by the reins and running is living a fulfilled life, because
taking action, right?
Yeah, taking action, and just loving it, living it, and enjoying every aspect of it. I was telling my mom yesterday, my husband was like, come here. And I ran outside. He's like, look at that. It's a praying mantis. Have you ever seen one of those before? And, to the audience, the squad, or to you, it might sound strange, but it's those little things that you just stop and recognize. And it's, it was cool to share a moment like that with him.
Did you tell him that the female eats the male after they mate?
No, I didn't know that.
They do. Google it. It's crazy. That's funny. My lady made sure she told me that. And I was like, oh, thanks. Hey, Charlotte, we're going to go into our leveling up lightning round. So you and I could really speak for 15, 20 minutes, but I got to limit you to like 5 to 7 seconds on answer. Whatever comes to the top of your head, you really don't follow up on it. I just want an answer. Is that cool?
Cool.
Awesome. Ready, set, go.
All right.
What is the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Ooh, wow. Be yourself. What you resist persists.
I was going to bet the house you were going to say be yourself, and I love that. Share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
Acting a fool.
Hey, you got to add laughter. I love that. I'm gonna stop you right there. You can't even elaborate. You can't. I'm leaving it there because I love that. That was genuine.
It's true. It's true.
Okay, recommend a good book to read other than the good book. Recommend another book, not one you're reading now, but one that comes to your head every time you think, man, I need to remember something, and you read it in that book.
Power and Praise. It's so old. It was one of my grandmother's books.
I love it.
Power and Praise by Carruthers, I believe his last name was. Okay. He's been gone now, but great book.
Excellent. So your favorite charity or organization that you like to support either monetarily or with your time?
It'll usually be church organizations because they reach So many.
Okay. Last question. The best decade of music, 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Oh man. Come on. I love it all. I mean, all genres. 80s had some hot stuff.
Yeah.
You know, we were into the rock back then. So yeah, I love the 80s.
Perfect. So as we wind down, Charlotte, can you share with the Time to Shine squad one knowledge nugget that you want them to take with them today, please?
Know that where you are is not where you're going, and keep moving forward.
Love it. That's fantastic. So how can we find you?
Well, I have several venues on social media. LinkedIn is Charlotte Terrell, MED, MRC.
I'll put it in the show notes. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
I see your
Face note is at Images MCA.
Love it.
Did I say face note or Facebook?
It's okay. I have that open too. So that's
Twitter is at Char the Real One.
At Char the Real One? Okay.
Yeah. And then my email address is charlotteterrell@gmail.com.
Love that. And squad, make sure that you pick up her book as well on Amazon. I'm going to put a link in the show notes. Again, it's Disease, and it's spelled DIS-EASE, the 30-day guide to comfort, depression, and anxiety. It's Kindle format. It's a super quick read. You're going to love it. And I just want to have you realize that not only is Charlotte a Sparty, but also a genuine, loving person, And she asked the question, would you trust you to be your caregiver? And that's amazing, because I know that whoever is taking care of my parents, they better have their A game on and part of the varsity squad. And if you're going to trust yourself and be genuine, and then the Images acronym is fantastic. I'm going to butcher it again, but impart a message about God's expectations about our success. I'm hoping that we got that.
Close enough.
Yeah. So Charlotte, you're so humble, yet you're so hungry. You're leveling up your health. You're leveling up your wealth. You're part of our squad now. Thank you so much for coming on. And we look forward to actually having you on again, okay?
I'd love it. Have a
great
day.
Guys. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today podcast. Proudly brought to you by Sutter & Nugent Real Estate Excellence, who can be reached at 561-249-7266 and online at www.sutterandnugent.com. If you're a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on Time to Shine Today, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also there, you will see our recommended resources. We hope that you will support our show by supporting them. If you like what you've been listening to, it'd be great if you could just give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's our time to shine.